All right, boys, let's look at a little bit of Muay Thai today. The dynamic of this fight can be explained in a simple few pieces. Tawanchai mostly winning from kicking range with side kicks, push kicks, occasional leg kicks, and sweeps, but Superbon winning in mid-range, particularly with punches, and especially with catching counters where he would deflect body kicks and come over the top with overhand rights or step in with left hooks. Very effective in that area, and Tawanchai would do good on the inside more often, sometimes by landing some up elbows and elbows over top. And then before we get into it, just one final thing. This is one of the rare examples of a fight dynamic where there's not a hunter or a sniper. Normally there's someone trying to close the distance normally, and there's another trying to keep the distance. That doesn't really exist in this fight, and it's a lot more common that this type of stuff happens in Muay Thai, where you kind of just have like two fighters standing in range just trading kicks, and sometimes there'll be counters and stuff like that. But here, yeah, you just that's what you have, just two people exchanging shots back and forth, basically sniping at each other. But Superbon does have some counters, and we're gonna look at some of that. Let's go. Superbon extends that hand to pull the guard out, to pull that lead hand out from Tawanchai, because they were hand fighting because they're southpaw versus orthodox. And when he does that, opens up the guard, push kick to the body, teep kick, whatever you want to call it. And then he's gonna go for another teep kick when Tawanchai is kind of closing distance a little bit. Pushes him back, resetting him, not allowing him to get set in any type of rhythm so far. But then as Tawanchai is resetting, he kind of like steps in, a little bit of a feint, but then that feint allows him to actually launch into the next one. And particularly when he does this feint, it backs up Superbon, and then Superbon starts slowly coming forward again, and then he times him with the forward momentum. Now when Superbon is throwing that front kick, Tawanchai is being more deliberate with his attempts to catch it, but he kind of got pushed back and he was stepping back, so he kind of got out of the way of the shot, so he couldn't really catch it all the way. Superbon feints, pulls that right leg up. Tawanchai waits for him to reset. He's looking, and then as soon as he's getting back into position, he times him with that body kick. Oh, that's bad by me. He times him with that body kick. But then this is what I was talking about with the catch and counter. Superbon pulls down the elbows to try and deflect that shot, and he steps in, and so he can time a overhand, and it partially lands. Superbon is gonna blitz forward, catch Tawanchai off guard. Tawanchai is looking, and Superbon just all of a sudden jumps into that high kick. He has a dangerous, you can search up Superbon. He has a dangerous right leg, and it partially lands. I think it caught Tawanchai off guard because of all the front kicks off the right leg. Look at this slight little move right here from Tawanchai. I don't know if that's him testing the waters. I don't know if that's meant to be a feint, but it's the exact same startup to the move that's going to get him to land this straight right here. He drops levels just a little bit, and Superbon doesn't really respond too well, probably because it caught him off guard. It was disguised pretty well, and a lot of kicks that come through, so there's a lot of calculations, and he throws him off by level change and blasts through the middle, and Superbon tries to intercept him, but nothing there. In my opinion, the most successful aspects of Superbon's offense came off of counters like this, either blocking, deflecting, or catching kicks to set up counter punches in response, either around or through or underneath the guard. And so, boom, front kick, he steps out of the way. It's like a bull and a matador. Steps out of the way, scoops, gets a hold of that leg, and he pulls him into that counter punch. And then Tawanchai gets a little bit of a sneaky elbow because he had the back of his head in the collar tie. Tawanchai bringing up a front kick, catching Superbon off guard, but he mostly deals with that, and he tries to step in and counter again, and he actually does land a big overhand. But yeah, a lot of times his responses to those kicks was to close the distance any way he could and counter with punches. Tawanchai is going to try and slap and probably manipulate Superbon's guard, but Superbon pulls out of the way and counters with the elbow while he's coming in. That's a clean counter. Because when I was looking at it, I was thinking it was going to be a hook, but it turns into an elbow, and it lands super clean. And then Tawanchai tries to counter with his elbow, but Superbon pulls just barely out of the way. Tawanchai is going to feint Superbon out of position right here. Wait, nope, there it is. And then Superbon's gonna pull back, probably because he was expecting a leg kick or maybe a side kick to the body. So he wanted to pull that side of his body away from the potential attack. But since his stance is broken, now he's vulnerable. So Tawanchai used that feint to break his stance, and then he timed him when he was in a vulnerable position. But off that body kick, he's gonna reset Superbon, back him up, and then Superbon's gonna look to come back forward and then he's gonna time him again with a body kick. But look at Superbon, he puts those elbows down, trying to deflect the kick so he can step in and throw counter punches. But Tawanchai actually avoids most of those. They both shuffle in. Superbon steps into southpaw, which intentional or not, it sets up this left elbow over top of that right shoulder of Tawanchai, and then Tawanchai answers back, and he's looking for shot. Boom, hits him with an elbow right there, and then it seems like they're gonna break, but nope. Superbon's looking for an elbow, doesn't really get through. I think it mostly gets locked up in the clinch, and then now they're kind of like fighting for positions in the clinch, and Superbon is on the inside, and then Tawanchai digs his arms underneath, getting bicep control, which sets up. So now that he has control over Superbon's arms, and particularly using the wrist, sets up a knee to the body because his arms is locked up top. And then he tries to get a collar tie and land the elbow off of the collar tie, and then Superbon tries to answer back, but he pulls this kick, he doesn't throw it. And at times I think Superbon was purposely going after the body, like with this knee where he tries to pull him down into it. And then here's another example at the end of the round. He does the deflection of the kick like from earlier. This time he counters with a cross to the body, which was great because Tawanchai's guard was up, so he had to open into the body. And I think that he did it on purpose to build up, stamina issues later on for Tawanchai in the later rounds, which I think did play a factor. That is all, Fight Scientist Immortality Serum out. Just a simple breakdown.